I'm ready with my cup of tea, and this is the Q&A, the question and answer session. Thank you very much to everybody who has written in. Trilby Freeman asks, would you be able to show how you easily get to the back of your work when it is in a seat frame? I love the ease of the seat frame I purchased, but it seems hard to look at the back when ending a thread. Well, Trilby, I never do look at the back of my work. I actually do all my work from the top, so I never turn it over. So it's always, the stitches are, the start and finishing stitches are either hidden in my needlework or they're covered over later. So if you look at the videos, I think you'll find that that is quite, it's better to look at it on a film than for me to explain. Carol Dodge asks, I notice on your videos you state the thread is more smooth running one way. When using a double thread, is it better to cut two separate strings? As you fold your thread in half, won't the smooth be running in two different directions? Absolutely right, Carol, that is running in two directions. And I've never found it makes any difference really, because your needles are so fat. They're really big size, so they're metric size 1. And the needle makes the hole in the linen and then the wool follows that. So I wouldn't worry about the direction of the thread when you're using a double thread. But if you want to, then use two separate strands together. But I personally have never found that that makes any difference. And I love my start and finish method using the loop. So I think it's worth it. Caroline Jackson asks, what is the difference between Crewel and Jacobean, and can you use the embroidery thread instead of wool? Oh, endless. Everybody asks me this question. It's such a good question, Caroline. Jacobean really is a style. If it's furniture, it's James I. And if it's the, which is James I of England, James VI of Scotland. If it's needlework, it tends to be James II of his era. So endless confusion about that. I wish they just stuck to one Jacobean. And the Jacobean style we see mainly is from really the very end of the 17th century. So it's not even when James was still around. He'd gone off to France by then. So yes, you can use any thread you like, because Jacobean is a style really, rather than anything else. But if you want long, short, soft shading to look amazing, then wool and wool, or wool and then silk is better. But I wouldn't use cotton personally. But it is really good fun to use cotton. The thing about wool is it's got a really nice bounce in it, and I'll go into that in a bit more detail in another of my videos. What is the brand of the larger frame that was easier to tighten? Is it the one from Needle Needs? No, it isn't, I don't think. And I don't know where I got that, because it was given to me to show, to trial, so it might be Needle Needs. But I don't awfully like the one with the screw on the side, because when you clamp it with the Lowry clamp, it's clamping onto a round dowel shape instead of a square. So personally, the best one would be a slate frame, probably from somebody like Ecclesiastical Sewing or the Royal School of Needlework. So if you can get a slate frame with pegs, that would probably be the best, but they're very expensive. So it depends what you can afford. I personally much prefer a seat frame, because I can get it much tighter without any hassle, and then I can stitch anywhere I like in the garden or anywhere. Right, when drawing out the design on the linen, do you find pencil causes a dirtiness on the linen? I'm scared of pencil smudges. I love the solid blue lines on your printed linens. Is there a marking tool that can be used that wouldn't smudge or dirty up the linen? Thanks for sharing all your knowledge, Phillipa. What a nice email, Colleen. So I use an HB pencil, sharp and very sharp. I own a set of bed hangings from 1710 where they used pencil to draw out the design. So I know that it stays there and it doesn't smudge and it's fine. But I wouldn't use a very soft charcoaly pencil. I wouldn't use a 4B or anything like that. I just do HB, a normal pencil, but very sharp, and don't keep going over and over the line. Just do the faintest line that you can actually see. I don't use any chemical commercial print markers that you get for quilting, because I'm very worried about the effect of chemicals on the organic linen, and I know that in the past this has meant that a lot of the work that people have done has made it deteriorate terribly. Sewing Bee asks, I like the idea of cutting pieces out and drawing around them. And this is because I've been showing cutting out the design and pinning it on or sewing it on and then cutting out the design. Or it's actually drawing out that I have been doing, not, yes, drawing out around them. I have a question. I think I'll use the stag design from the Jacobean stag. I'm trying to add some gold work like what is in the Gentleman's Nightclub. Do you think this is feasible if done on twill canvas fabric? I would like to sparkle it up a bit. I think you just have to try it, suck it and see, Sewing Bee, because I can't judge your threads without actually having a go myself or seeing or knowing the brand. So there's so much to choose from with that. But the idea of the Christmas stocking stash is that it's a stash buster, and I'd like you to just try it. You've got lots of fabric down each side of the linen, and yes, a twill or a canvas, whatever the needle's friendly with, just have a go. Right, only 2 more to go. Newsletter response, Jill Smedley. I enjoy receiving your lovely emails with the beautiful work that you show. Oh, that's nice. I think she means the newsletters, with the mail shots we send out. So she must be signed up for the Crewel Work Company mail shots, which anybody can do, which we're delighted if you do. I wondered if you have available any beginners tutorials online. Good question, Jill. We were talking about this at our meeting this morning. I've watched a couple of your more advanced but would really love a start from scratch series, including NEY and how you use the cling film, etc. I know this sounds rather basic, but I'm an absolute beginner, and although I bought a starting work from you a while ago, I haven't yet to begin it. I thought during these strange times it would be an excellent moment. Any online tutorials would be of great help. Jill, you're my girl. You can be the first to sign up. I'm sorry that the dog is jogging the camera at the moment. Bella, get down. Bella, come round here.
Oh, it's okay.
Okay.
She's fine. She's fine.
And anyway, we are actually going to run a tutorial class for beginners, for the less confident rather than just beginners. Everybody thinks they're a beginner, but it's often a lack of confidence for the Jacobean sampler design, which will be a paid up class. We're trying to really run a sort of retreat online experience, which we'd really like to have. Just move the dog up. Hello, say hello, Bella. Due for a clip. Anyway, last one. Loretta Root asks, on the running hair, since it's going to be covered later, when do you do the seeding and couching stitches over the edge of the area? Is there a reason you don't go over the edge as opposed to on the line? Not quite sure what you mean there, Loretta. I think it's where am I doing the starting and finishing stitches, and I'm doing them on anywhere that's going to be covered later, and I'm not doing them outside the area, because when you actually stitch over the seeding stitches, that secures them. So what do you think, Bella? Yep. I don't think she's very impressed. What do you think, Richard? Have we answered the questions?
I don't know, you'll find out.
Yes, do get in touch with me again, and we'll do another one next week. Thank you very much indeed.